Hi, Stephanie. Hey, so you're here
Hello.
to talk to us about the school board race in Seminole County, right?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. So my name is Stephanie Arguello. I was born and raised right here in Central Florida. So graduated from Brevard County Public Schools, moved to central, like more Orange County area. And after graduating with my bachelor's in health science, I started working here in the community. And I also became a mom at 22 years old. So my daughter is now in 11th grade. And she's been in Seminole County Public Schools since first grade. So I've been here experiencing, of course, our school system as a parent, and then also as a public health professional. So I spent 11 years with Advent Health, which is one of our largest healthcare providers, and multiple roles within that time. But a lot of my experience is focused on public health, which is looking at it's so much more than just health outcomes, but understanding the barriers in our community and especially for different populations. So a lot of working with people from all different backgrounds, different industries. How can we help our community be uplifted together?
Didn't know what public health was until my daughter got a degree in that. So now I'm
Oh,
like totally
awesome.
versed in it. Yes. So tell us, like, what brought you into that race, the
Mm,
school board? I mean, like, we try to explain to people that down ballot races matter, right?
yeah.
And most importantly, just because, of course, because of all of the news over pulling books out and all of that stuff, I think people understand the value of the school board much more than ever. But I still don't know if people really do. Tell us a bit about the importance.
Absolutely. So, for me, my why for school board specifically is because education to me is it's a door opener for anyone. It opens the door for opportunity, regardless of your background, things challenges that you may have faced, whatever your demographic boxes you check. Education to me is the equalizer. And so I want to protect the quality of education, that has helped me get to where I am. So I'm currently working on my doctorate in public health. And, I want more people to love learning. And I
Mhm.
think seeing the divisiveness and seeing all the distractions that we've had in schools, for me, rose a concern of like, do our kids enjoy this anymore? There needs to be an environment for them to grow and learn and know that they have value. And I felt we were getting away from that. And as a parent, I'm also seeing the new things that our kids are facing with an age where they grow up in social media. They're growing up in a totally different world than even when we were in school a few years ago. It's very
Mhm.
different now, so that was a big motivator.
I like I like I like the fact that you talked about just even loving learning, because
Hmm.
those people who love learning understand how deliciously wonderful it is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So, all right, in your area, are the issues different for, let's say, Seminole County as opposed to the wider state? It's just
Mm,
I've never really interviewed anyone with this, the school board. So this is just a personal question for me.
yeah. No, it's a yes and. Florida, I think, has some unique we just dropped to number 50 in the state for teacher or in the country for teacher pay. So across the state of Florida, we're experiencing a mass exodus of teachers that's impacting our quality of education. And then a lot of the legislation that's coming down is state level education. That's you refer to book bans and those things that we're hearing about. A lot of those are starting at the state level. So we definitely have a unique dynamic here in Florida. And then when you look at Seminole County has a legacy of thriving. We actually have a great academic legacy in Seminole County.
Mhm.
For me, the motivation is because of how much our world has changed, and even in the county, demographics have changed.
Mhm.
We have a much more diverse population with different needs coming in, plus economy challenges, world challenges. I think all of that for me tells me that it's time for us to really look at how do we make sure we preserve legacy of academic excellence when we're losing teachers, when we're
Mhm.
having more conflict among students in school, when we're seeing more, incidences of violence. So we want to keep the academics, but all of those other factors are so important to address.
And that brings me to the point of, well, how would someone, if they're hearing and they like what you're saying, because now what
Mm,
I get is, every race is important, even school board. Even if I'm in Miami and I'm listening to you, it
mm,
affects policy at a statewide level, right?
yeah,
So they should support, right? Because I know
absolutely.
anyone running for office needs support. What do you need as support? Talk to us about that so that our
Yeah.
folks could understand.
Sure. And I can say, I'm a first-time candidate. I'm not a lifetime politician. I'd be the youngest serving on our school board. And when you're coming in as a first-time candidate, the biggest thing, it's a grassroots campaign. So, of course, money, people who are willing to even donate $5 or $10 to the campaign, it does make a difference because our goal is to reach as many voters. And we're across the entire county here in Seminole County. So I'm trying to reach across 7 cities.
That's
it's a huge undertaking, and for a first race to do countywide is tough. So I think whether it is through financial donations, whether it's through going on, and I'll share my information. My websites are on www.arguelloforschools.com, and that's the number 4. But go to the website because then you can click to the social media. Again, sharing the message, helping to get my name out there anyway is extremely helpful. And then, definitely, if you want to come volunteer, we do canvassing where we're knocking doors to let people know, remind them that school board is happening and that there is a vote in November, because it does tend to get lost with all the other issues and candidates. But this is the local driver of our economy here in Florida, and everywhere is our schools.
I love that because, again, one of the reasons our why for this is really explaining to folks down ballots matter actually the most to their daily lives. And so, you explaining this just helps to educate our audience as to why it's important. So talk to us about, again, now you mentioned your website, but how else can we find you?
Yeah, so I'm on all my social media is Arguello for Schools. So you can definitely search Instagram. And it's so funny because I'm a millennial, but my daughter calls me a boomer because anyone over like 25 is a boomer. So I'm like, I have Facebook, and Instagram are my social media. And then my website is probably the best way because you'll get a little bit more information about my professional experience as well. I'm coming in with, experience as a leader who I started as a director right when the pandemic hit and had to navigate, and it was director of community health. So you're talking about overseeing health outcomes for Central Florida during a pandemic. So, high pressure situation, a lot of adapting and working with, people to do things in a new way. And so that's really what I want to bring to our school board, because we're going to need to adapt. And just last week in my daughter's school alone, we had 2 incidences, 2 days in a row, where as parents, we received a text that the school was on lockdown and that there was a threat to our kids. So it's not just there's the books and these other things that we argue over, but the reality is I want my daughter to be safe. And I want her to be able to fall in love with learning. And it's hard to do that when you're worried about someone bringing a weapon on campus, or again, the violence or the increase in lack of safety that our kids are experiencing.
That's so scary. I twice in the week.
Yeah. 2 days in a row. So you think about these kids then, and then it's like, okay, go back and it's time to learn again, but you're anxious, you're scared. And, and I'm saying it as I'm the parent, she's the one that's experiencing it firsthand. And I'm trying to support her and calm my own nerves about it.
Exactly. About sending them to an environment. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. And I mean, that's tough. That one stumped me. I'm like, I had an AI question and it's gone out of my head because I just can't imagine as a kid going back into school right after, and as a parent having to send them right back as well. But
you do bring up a good conversation with technology too, though, because if we look at how our schools are operating, like what I say now is our kids live in a hybrid world. They're growing up and starting with access to all of the knowledge on the, that the internet has to offer, having to navigate social profiles as young as elementary school. And we see our kids like experiencing burnout by the time they reach high school, so it's like, how do we have to incorporate this? Technology isn't going anywhere. So there's this question, it's like, it's not going away, but how can we incorporate it in a more balanced way for our kids, and as parents model that behavior?
You really are exploring new terrain. It's really a completely new terrain out there, you know. Well, Stephanie, it was a pleasure talking with you. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add, but we're going to come back and circle with you at another time so that we capture some more information from you before the election day. All right. So anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Just a reminder one more time, my website is www.arguello, ARGUELLO, the number 4, schools.com. Please definitely take a look, follow our socials, hit the donate button, and remind people living in Seminole County that anyone in Seminole County can vote for school board on November 5th.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.